Now, Pope Leo has reaffirmed the Vatican's backing of a two-state solution to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, calling it the only way to guarantee justice for both sides. Beginning a three-day trip to Lebanon, the Pope also challenged the country's political leaders to become true peacemakers.
Buon pomeriggio a tutti.
En route from Istanbul to Beirut, Pope Leo surprised the 80 or so journalists traveling on the papal plane with a brief in-flight news conference where he was asked about the situation in Gaza.
For several years now, the Holy See has publicly supported the proposal of a two-state solution. We all know that at this moment Israel does not accept this solution. But we see it as the only one that could offer a way out of the conflict that they continually experience.
In Lebanon, he was greeted by a 21-gun salute and a red carpet. This is the second leg of his first overseas trip as pontiff. Waiting to meet him on the tarmac, Lebanon's President Joseph Aoun, the Arab world's only Christian head of state. Leo is fulfilling a promise made by his predecessor, Pope Francis, who had wanted to visit for years but couldn't because of ill health. Lebanon's last papal visit was Pope Benedict in 2012. Thousands lined the streets of Beirut's suburbs, waving Vatican and Lebanese flags, hoping to catch a glimpse of the Pope on his way to the presidential palace. Once there, he was met with an elaborate song and light show. Lebanon is a Muslim-majority country where about a third of the population is Christian. It has always been a priority for the Vatican, a stronghold for Christians throughout the region. The key event on his first day was an address to religious and political leaders. Pope Leo praised the Lebanese for their resilience and urged them to stay in their country, which has seen waves of emigration after years of conflict.
There are times when it is easier to flee or simply more convenient to move elsewhere. It takes real courage and foresight to stay or to return to one's own country.
Already mired in a years-long economic collapse, there are renewed fears of a return to war between Israel and the militant group Hezbollah. In his speech at the presidential palace, the Pope emphasized the need for peace, using the word more than 20 times in his address.
We cannot negate what only the other knows.
Well, let's bring in DW correspondent Stella Mena, who joins me from Beirut. Stella, peace was the key message there, mentioned 20 times. We hear Pope Leo's been talking a lot to spread that message. Are people in Lebanon listening?
In his speech that Pope Leo delivered at the presidential palace, he made quite clear that he's not only here to talk about peace as a spiritual concept, but rather to really address its political form and political dimension. In his speech, he addressed the politicians of Lebanon, asking them to serve in the interest of the people, which I think resonated quite well. Lebanon has gone through a number of economic and political crises, and in the past the leaders have acted more on their private interests instead of the country's interests, and most Lebanese are very sick of this behavior. They are demanding a government that is really doing their job. So Pope Leo's words were really the opinion of the majority here in Lebanon. Pope Leo then went on in his speech addressing the people and asking them to unite and to overcome religious differences. And this is also a wish that is often addressed by the young generation here in Lebanon.
Has Stella, Pope Leo been directly addressing the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah more specifically? Has that conflict shaped this visit?
He didn't talk explicitly about this conflict, but for sure this conflict is shaping the visit, not in terms of the security, because Israel has said yesterday before the Pope arrived that it will act in line with the visit. So we are not expecting any bombardment in the next few days. But certainly the conflict is limmering, and it is a very tense political situation. And people here are worried about the future. And it certainly has an impact on the mood of especially the people in the south, who are the ones that have to suffer daily strikes and daily bombardment from the Israeli army. And there are some Christians living in the south of Lebanon as well. There are around 20 Christian villages. And I was able to speak with some of the people who are living there. And they told me that they are rather disappointed that the Pope decided not to come to the south and that he's only visiting the northern parts of the country. They are saying that they are the ones suffering and that they would need the message of peace more than the other people in Lebanon.
Lebanon is a diverse religious landscape, as you point out. How do Christians and other religious sects see his visit?
Generally speaking, most people I saw and spoke to are joyful and happy about the visit. And these are not only Christian people, it's also people from other religions. They told me that they are honored that such an important religious figure is making a visit to their country. They are hoping that this visit will mean that the international community is now looking back onto Lebanon's really difficult situation, because also the media coverage of the war here in Lebanon has reduced a little bit over the last couple of weeks. So the hopes are very high that the international focus will shift back onto the country. And we've seen that also yesterday when the Pope arrived. He was not only welcomed by Christians, but also by members from Hezbollah and the youth scouts of Hezbollah's organization.
DW correspondent Stella Manna in Beirut, thanks.